Okay, let's draw compound stress trees for each of the following examples. Starting with the first compound, football team is actually made up of two, uh, is actually built first into a compound with foot and ball to create football, and then football is joined with team to create the compound football team. What we want to do is identify the appropriate structure. So if we take foot and ball together and we ask, is the second word branching? The answer is no. Ball is a simple word by itself, so it's the weak member of the compound football. So we have three words. The first two words form a compound in which the first word is the strong member, and therefore stress for the compound is placed on foot. Football. We don't say football, but football. Now, when we make a larger compound by joining the word football with the word team, again we have to ask, is the second word branching? Well, here the second word is team. That's not branching, it's a simple word. So again, it's the weak member of the compound, and therefore the structure would be football team. Football team. In the case of English teacher, it's made up of two words. Although the second word is a complex word, the verb teach plus an affix which creates a noun, meaning a person who teaches, that doesn't influence the structure of the compound. It's not made up of two words. It still is not itself a compound. So when we consider whether the second word is branching, here the answer remains no. Therefore, teacher is the weak member of the larger compound, English teacher. English teacher. And that's why we do not pronounce English teacher, English teacher. Rather, it's English teacher. In the case of finger and nail and polish, there are three words that are being joined together. The first two form a compound that is even spelled as a single word, with no space in the middle. So clearly, finger and nail are joined together to create fingernail before we add the word polish. So with finger and nail, we ask, is the second word branching? And nail is not branching, so it's the weak member of the compound, and finger is the strong member. Fingernail. Fingernail. Now when we join together the word fingernail, which happens to be a compound, but it's still a word, so we're joining the word fingernail with the word polish. And we ask, is the second word branching? And still, the word is not branching, right? That's a simple word, polish. So it's the weak member of the larger compound, fingernail polish. And as a result, the stress pattern of fingernail polish and football team are exactly the same because they have the same compound stress tree structure. Now, moving to the examples at the bottom, right, we have train and station and coffee and shop. Well, coffee and shop form a compound together. Train and station form a compound together, right? Because a train station and a coffee shop, right, each of those is a compound by themselves. But then we can further join them together into an even larger compound involving all four of these words. But let's first begin by creating the smaller compounds made up of two words each. So when train and station are compounded, we ask, is the second word branching? And the answer is no. So it's the weak member of the compound. And likewise, coffee and shop. Shop is not branching, so it's the weak member. So we have two compounds made up of a strong word followed by a weak word. Train station, coffee shop. Right? The pitch is on the first word in each of those compounds. But when we want to join them together into an even larger compound, right, then we begin by taking the compound word train station, and the compound word coffee shop, and we ask, is the second word branching? This time the answer is yes, because coffee shop is itself a compound. Therefore, it's the strong member of the compound that is made up of all four words, and the structure would look like this. Train station coffee shop. Train station coffee shop. Now the final example, involving three words, Japanese, art, and dealer, is actually ambiguous, because we might talk about an art dealer is a person who sells and buys art, and that person may be Japanese, a Japanese art dealer. Or we may talk about a dealer who specializes in Japanese art or art from Japan. The dealer himself or herself may be from Brazil or from France or from some country other than Japan, but they specialize in art from Japan. So depending on which structure, we'll determine which compound stress pattern we pronounce. So in the first case, let's consider the example of an art dealer. So an art dealer is a person who deals in art. The second word is not branching, so it forms a compound in which the first word is the strong member of the compound. But now when I join the word Japanese with the compound word art dealer, the second word is branching. Therefore, it's the strong member of the larger compound, right? The Japanese art dealer. A Japanese art dealer. That's an art dealer who is from Japan. However, if we make a compound using the words Japanese and art first, art is not branching, so it's the weak member of the compound, Japanese art. Japanese art, which is a kind of art. It's the art from Japan. Now, someone who deals in that art is going to be a dealer of Japanese art, or in the compound form, Japanese art and dealer. Now, dealer is not branching, so it's the weak member of the larger compound, and therefore the stress pattern would be Japanese art dealer. Japanese art dealer. So the way we distinguish these two compounds, which have different meanings in pronunciation, is by the placement of compound stress. First, we have a Japanese art dealer. A Japanese art dealer is someone who is Japanese and whose profession is to buy and sell art. The contrast is with Japanese art dealer. Japanese art dealer. This is someone who buys and sells art from Japan. Okay, so just one more, just to listen to the two alternatives next to each other. Japanese art dealer. Japanese art dealer. You can hear the difference in pitch, which reflects the difference in the compound word structure. Okay, we'll stop there, and in the next video we'll be looking at phrasal stress. Thanks.